All right, we're backstage. The KNOTFEST is rolling on. We got Aaron from Red Fang. How are you today?
I'm great. Great. How are you?
Saw you at the Palladium last time you came through.
Oh yeah, Opeth and In Flames. Yep. That was amazing. Lawrence Welk. Yeah.
The world famous Palladium.
Yep.
Now you guys hail from where?
Portland, Oregon. Yeah.
Okay. The beautiful Pacific Northwest. I went to college at Western Washington. Up there
Okay.
in Bellingham.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. We just did a tour with a band called Wild Throne, who are from Bellingham.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that 5 freeway goes all the way from Canada to Mexico.
Yep.
I'm sure you know it well.
Oh yeah.
Now, growing up, at what age did you get involved playing music, and who were your inspirations at that point?
Well, I started playing music at 8 years old. I actually requested my parents sign me up for piano lessons because my friends were all forced to do piano, but I was like, that sounds cool. I want to do. They all complained about it, but I really wanted to do it. And I mean, honestly, my influences at that age were like Mozart and Hall & Oates was one of my favorite bands then.
You gotta have some deep roots. You know?
Yeah. But then like I got into playing guitar. Then I moved on to saxophone in 5th grade, and then I think I was like 15 when I first started playing guitar with a buddy of mine who was just like, hey, we like rock music. Why don't we just play some? So. It was junior high, high school that I started playing music, and it was like Metallica, Soundgarden, Mudhoney, Nirvana, those kinds of things. Like those kind of came in.
From the Pacific Northwest, you had a lot.
Well, we weren't. No, I grew up in Colorado, so
okay.
yeah, Fort Collins. Okay. Yeah, but we just discovered. I discovered Soundgarden through Metallica. There was some magazine with Metallica on the cover, and it was like 50 greatest metal bands you've never heard of.
Yeah.
And Soundgarden and Voivod were the two in there that sounded really interesting to me. And so then through Soundgarden, I discovered the whole Seattle thing, like Tad and Mudhoney and all that stuff.
When did you move to Portland? Before you met the band or after?
Oh, way before. Okay. So I moved to Portland in '91 to go to school.
So by the time Nevermind came out, you were up there and...
I was out there before that record came out. I remember actually playing Bleach for a bunch of my friends at school, and I was like, this is the most amazing band ever, and they were like, whatever. And then 3 months later, Bleach came out, and they were like, have you heard this band Nirvana? And I was like, yeah, that's the band that you made me turn off in the van the other day. But
it was like that for me with AC/DC in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Up in the Northwest.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Right.
Back in Black came out, everybody
Right.
there.
Yeah.
It's like, really?
Yeah.
It took Bon Scott to die before you guys caught on?
Yeah.
Crazy.
The very first rock music thing I ever did, one of the songs we did was oh my God, why am I forgetting the name of the song? Having trouble with your high school head. You know that song? Yeah. I don't know, I'm just like brain dead right now, but I have had no sleep, but you know what song I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Man. Dirty Deeds. Yeah. So that's probably the first Cyanide. That's probably the first song that I ever played, like first rock song I ever played in front of anybody was that song. So.
Yeah. That was an amazing band.
Yeah.
So now, from there, tell us how you came about to join these guys, what it was about what they were doing to intrigue you, and what you brought to the band.
So they had all played with a couple other guys in a band called Party Time, which was one of my favorite bands in Portland. And Brian, who's the other singer in Red Fang, the band broke up. He moved to San Diego. My band had broken up. And so John was like, you want to jam? And I was like, of course, let's do it. And then David came over, and so it was already some of Party Time. And we sort of just like took that Party Time ethic of like, why do this overly complicated math rock that's impenetrable and nobody can really get it? That's not what inspired us to play music in the first place. And it's like hard to listen to, so just trying to keep it, simplify it. And so, yeah, and I think that I also, as much as I love metal and, math rock and impenetrable music, I ultimately have a pop sensibility to me, that always, just to catch it, So like within metal, Slayer is one of my favorite metal bands, and they're not like top 40 pop, but they are very catchy, super catchy band. And
monster riffs.
Yeah, that are really memorable. But So yeah, so I think it was just that it's a magical combination of, you know, just like these like really interesting, weird riffs that, you know, somebody will bring that somehow that get mooshed into, you know, something that just somehow it just works. And there's this, I have this kind of pop thing that I'll try to moosh onto things, and then they'll take my like overly pop things and turn them into like more interesting, like weirded out stuff. So it just works really well with the four of us.
So is it a natural evolution of the sound, or did you guys talk about the direction?
Oh, it just is the four of us, the way that we play together. Yeah. There's not really, we talked about it, but then we didn't like, we aren't smart enough to know how to actually, you know, realize any vision. It's just the way that the four of us play together just is what a Red Fang sounds like.
Sure.
Yeah.
So now what label are you guys with?
With Relapse Records.
Okay, Relapse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who are sort of based out of Philadelphia, but they have an office in Portland now too. And the guy who started the label lives in Portland, so.
Okay, great. Now, what is you guys' approach as far as the attitude you take in this business now? Obviously, it's a very DIY indie approach, but
yeah.
Is there any particular kind of attitude, or, you know?
Well, we've started to, after doing some of the bigger, like doing Mayhem Festival and some other stuff like that, where I feel like that stuff is important to do, and it's helped us a lot as far as growing the band and like getting in front of people who maybe never would have heard of us otherwise. But we're getting to a point now where we're trying to put a priority on playing shows that are more about like where we came from, which is, you know, if we have a choice of playing a smaller venue for 2 nights, you know, instead of like a bigger venue that's gonna, you know, like that's what we would rather do. Like we'll give up some of the luxuries to have just like this like sweaty, you know, punk rock kind of, like I just want to get
fun for you and more of a connection with the audience.
Yeah, and for me it's just like I feel like we're not punk music, but we just have a punk like ethos, which is like do what the fuck you want to do.
At least the best space between you and the audience.
Yeah, that, and also just the thing about like punk is not a sound or a style. It's a attitude of like you don't have to have any kind of rules or an outfit or whatever, that, you know, there's no uniform for punk. It's just like that you're going to do things that feel right to you, and doesn't really matter what anybody expects of you or whatever. So that's kind of how we try to do it.
Who are your favorite bands that you had the opportunity to tour or play with?
Oh man, so many. This last tour, Wild Throne and Whores, are amazing. It was a super fun tour. We just finished yesterday. Big Business, Helmsley, American Sharks, Gaytheist, Mastodon, of course. Yeah, just like, I don't know, I could list bands forever, but
yeah.
But
those, wish list, who you haven't played with that you'd love to?
Would love to play with Soundgarden. Would love to do a tour with, you know, if we could play any shows with like Queens of the Stone Age or Foo Fighters, or those are all pretty, you know, 9 Inch Nails would be cool.
What advice do you give to the young bands, young creative people? What do they need to focus on?
They need to focus on not trying to achieve any like particular sound, that like not trying to, like I was just saying earlier, just do what feels natural to you and express yourself and who your inner, like whatever your weirdness is, do that, and don't try to be like, I love this band, I'm going to try to do what they do. Just don't do that. You're going to fail every time when you do that. So that's all I'd say. And also, don't worry about whether people like you or not, or whether people are showing up to your shows. Like, you have to do, if it feels right, you got to just keep doing it, you know, and if you feel like stopping, then stop. Whatever. Like, just don't worry about it.
We thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you.
Awesome to see you as always. Please keep it up.
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.